Is day one of the 7 steps, and what we're going to cover in the overall steps of success for exhibitions is 3 key things. We're going to talk about 3 things that we do before the event, 3 things we do during the event, and 1 thing we do post-event. And these make up the 7 steps to exhibition success. And really the aim is for you to be much more successful at exhibiting and get a greater return. So we're going to start. Today is day 1, and we're going to talk about the plan. Many companies will go to an exhibition without a plan and without a real reason as to why they're there. And why it's so important is we need to be really focused on what we want to achieve by exhibiting. So when we talk about the plan, we talk about this concept of failing to plan, planning to fail. It's a very old expression, but the reality is 68% of people will go to a trade show without a plan. And they'll go with some kind of loose idea why they're there, or they've been sent by their boss, or they'll just have some kind of very generic idea as to why they're there. And unfortunately, companies that fall into the 68% are also the people that don't do well from trade shows. So the key point that we've got to start off with is actually having a plan. And we go back a little bit old school to the 1 to 2 page written plan for exhibiting. And when we set our ideas on paper, not only are we more likely to achieve them, but they're also much more shareable within a team environment. So everybody knows their roles and responsibilities. So what's included in this 1 to 2 page plan? Well, what we've got to cover is we've got to cover the 3 key areas within the plan that are going to make up the success of our exhibition effort. And we talk about sales, we talk about marketing, and we talk about operations. Within the sales piece of the plan, we need to define what exactly we're trying to achieve. Now, we're talking about the number of leads we need to get, the number of conversations we need to have, the number of conversations per salesperson if there's multiple salespeople on the booth, and really focus on those number metrics, because they're going to set down the marker of what exactly we want to achieve and how successful that show is. We also need to talk about demonstration numbers if it's a demonstration of a product. But when we commit these numbers to paper and we break them down per person per day, it makes things much more manageable for everyone involved. So in the sales piece, it's all about the numbers. The second part of the 1 to 2 page written plan, we focus on marketing. We're going to get a certain amount of organic traffic at the exhibition, but we've got to think about who are the key target people we'd love to attend our booth. And that's what we need to be focusing on, is the marketing effort pre-show in order to get those additional buyers. Because as I mentioned earlier, you will get organic traffic, but it's about setting the marker for the key buyers that you want. Here we've got to focus on what channels we're using, what message we want to send across to people, and when we're going to market ourselves before. Because the key time to market yourself before a national show is the 6 to 8 week time before the event itself, because that's the time when people start thinking about what they're doing the following month and the following month. So it's important that we focus our marketing efforts at the right time. We are going to cover a session later on in the 7 steps on marketing, plus there's a more detailed session separately on 9 tips for pre-show marketing that will be really, really valuable in terms of getting that additional audience. So marketing is critically important to have in our plan. And thirdly, we need to focus on the operation side. The things like who's working what days, who's building the stand, who's bringing what, who's the contractor, where's the hall, how long it's going to take to get us there, all those small details to relieve that stress during the build-up to the event itself. And these are really important. And as I mentioned or as I will mention again and again, very often the person who books the stand and the person who's on the booth stand will not necessarily be the same person. So it's important we share this plan so that everyone knows what's happening on the booth. So my key tip in step 1 is to write a 1 to 2 page written plan for exhibiting. Because when you do that, you will be more successful, and you will be the 32% of people who do really well from trade shows. So I hope those tips are of some help, and I'll see you on step 2. It's Stephen Murtagh, the exhibition guy.